You have ambition, big dreams, the desire to succeed, and the hope of one day living the life you've always imagined. But there's one problem: you're lazy. You know exactly what you should be doing, yet you simply don't do it. Day after day, you procrastinate, miss opportunities, and then blame yourself for not taking action. Deep down, you know you're capable of much more, but instead of changing, you keep repeating the same cycle, and the guilt keeps growing over time. Eventually, you accept it as part of who you are. When the new year arrives, you set the same goals you failed to achieve the year before. You start with determination, motivation, and maybe a little delusion. But before you even notice, procrastination returns, like an annoying relative who always shows up uninvited. You put things off a little, then a little more, until one day you realize you're stuck in an endless loop of laziness, procrastination, disappointment, and resetting goals without ever escaping it. You want to break this cycle and turn your ambitions into reality. So you search for solutions, watching countless videos online, but most advice sounds the same. Quit social media, eliminate distractions, plan everything, discipline yourself. These methods might work briefly, but soon you find yourself back at the starting point. The real reason is inertia. In physics, inertia is the tendency of an object to stay in its current state. If it's at rest, it stays at rest. If it's moving, it keeps moving unless acted upon by a force. Humans work the same way. When you're procrastinating, you tend to keep procrastinating because starting is always the hardest part. Instead of doing the important task, you choose the easy ones: scrolling your phone, watching Netflix, playing games, anything to avoid responsibility. The problem is that you make the first step seem too difficult in your mind. Thinking about writing a 5,000-word essay feels like climbing a mountain. Wanting to work out, but imagining months of effort discourages you before you even begin. Thinking about starting a business, but feeling overwhelmed stops you completely. But if inertia is the problem, it can also become the solution if you know how to use it. The good news is that you don't need a big push. You only need a small nudge to overcome the initial resistance. The first strategy is to reduce the difficulty of the first step. Most people procrastinate because they make the beginning too big. When you tell yourself you need to write 5,000 words, your brain responds with "too hard. Do it later." So make the task so small it's impossible to fail. Write 50 words instead of 5,000. Read just one page instead of studying for hours. Or do one push-up instead of a full workout. Once the task becomes small and easy, you no longer fear starting, and once you begin, you naturally want to keep going. The second strategy is the 2-minute rule. If you don't want to do something, tell yourself you'll just do it for 2 minutes. Don't want to clean your room? Play one song and tidy up until it ends. Don't want to write? Set a 2-minute timer and write whatever comes to mind. Don't want to exercise? Change into workout clothes and move for 2 minutes. Most people don't stop at 2 minutes because once something is in motion, it tends to stay in motion. By applying these techniques, you can break inertia, overcome procrastination, and finally turn your ambitions into reality. This works in every area of life: going to the gym, starting a business, or improving relationships. Everything becomes easier when you take one small step. As Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. You don't need to finish everything today. You just need to start. Once you push past the initial resistance, everything becomes easier. And if you do this every day, even just a little, you stop being a procrastinator and become a doer. You will achieve goals you once delayed and turn your ambition into reality. So don't wait, start now.